The strength of discipline. There was once a boy named Lien who lived in a bustling town. He was clever, full of dreams, and always talked about the great things he wanted to do. "I want to be strong like the warriors in the stories," he told his friends. "I want to play the flute better than anyone," he said one day. "I want to be a master builder and create houses that last for generations," he declared another time. But though his words were many, his actions were few. He would begin training one morning, swinging a wooden stick as a sword. But after 2 days, he grew tired and stopped. He would pick up the flute and play a few notes, but when it sounded harsh, he threw it aside. He would take wood and tools to start building, but when the work became hard, he gave up. Soon, his friends no longer believed his promises. They laughed whenever he announced a new dream. "Lien, you talk about everything but finish nothing." This hurt Lien, but he could not deny it. One day, while wandering through the town, Lien heard the ringing of iron. He followed the sound until he reached a forge where an old blacksmith named Joran was at work. The air was hot, sparks flew, and the steady rhythm of hammer on metal echoed like a heartbeat. Joran's arms were strong, his back bent from years of labor, but his movements were calm and precise. Lien stood silently, watching. The blacksmith raised his hammer and struck the iron once. Then again. Then again. Each strike seemed ordinary, but slowly the shapeless metal transformed into a sharp blade. "How do you do that?" Lien finally asked. Joran paused, then smiled. "With discipline, boy. 1 strike is nothing. 10 strikes are something. But 1,000 strikes, that is a sword." The words sank into Lien's heart. "Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it," Joran explained. "It means finishing what you start. Without discipline, talent is wasted. With discipline, even the weakest can grow strong." That night, Lien could not sleep. He thought about his flute, his wooden sword, his half-built projects. The truth was clear. He had been ruled by comfort, not discipline. The next morning, Lien picked up the flute and tried again. His notes were sharp and clumsy, and his frustration boiled inside him. He almost threw the flute away again, but then Joran's voice echoed in his mind. 1 strike is nothing. 10 strikes are something. But 1,000 strikes, that is a sword. So he played the tune again. And again. It sounded no better, but this time he did not quit. Every morning Lien practiced the flute. Every evening he trained with the sword. His arms ached, his fingers stung, and his patience wore thin. But each day he whispered to himself, 10 strikes are something. His friends teased him. "Why are you wasting your time?" they laughed. But Lien kept going. First, progress was invisible. His music still cracked. His sword still felt heavy. But slowly, something began to change. His fingers moved faster. His strikes grew sharper. His house walls rose a little higher. What once felt impossible now felt possible because he stayed. Weeks later, Lien visited Joran again. The old blacksmith handed him a finished sword. "Feel it," Joran said. Lien held the blade. It was balanced, strong, perfect. "Do you think this was made in 1 strike?" Joran asked. Lien shook his head. "No. It took hundreds, thousands." Joran nodded. "Exactly. Discipline is not a single act. It is many small acts, repeated until greatness is formed. Without discipline, even the strongest iron stays useless. With discipline, even the weakest hand can make steel." Months passed. Lien's discipline grew. He woke before sunrise to train. He practiced his flute even when he was tired. He built slowly, plank by plank, nail by nail. 1 year later, the town gathered for a festival. That day, Lien stood before the people. His arms were strong, his eyes steady. First, he lifted his flute and played a melody so clear it hushed the noisy crowd. Then he sparred with wooden swords, his strikes fast and sharp. Finally, he invited his friends into the small house he had built, simple but strong. The crowd gasped. "Is this really Lien, the boy who always gave up?" And Joran, watching from the side, only smiled. The boy who once abandoned everything had become a young man shaped by discipline. Life lesson. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. Without it, desire stays as wishful thinking. With it, effort becomes achievement. Think about life. A seed grows into a tree not overnight, but through daily sunlight and water. A student becomes a scholar not through talent alone, but through hours of steady study. A musician becomes great not after one song, but after years of practice. A builder creates lasting work not in a day, but through patient, steady labor. Discipline may feel like chains, but it is the path to freedom. When you master yourself, no obstacle can master you. It is easy to dream. It is harder to act. It is hardest of all to act every day. But those who master discipline master life. So the next time you feel like quitting, remember Lien. Remember the blacksmith's words. 1 strike is nothing. 10 strikes are something. But 1,000 strikes, that is a sword. Be steady. Be consistent. Be disciplined. Your future depends on it. Remember, life is not built on single moments of passion, but on the quiet power of discipline. Champions are not made on the day of victory. They are made in the lonely hours of training. Artists are not defined by one masterpiece. They are defined by the countless hours spent perfecting their craft. Success is not a gift. It is the result of daily discipline. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not easy. It often feels slow, boring, and thankless. But in the end, it creates results that passion alone can never achieve. So do not wait for motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. Do not wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. Discipline makes any moment perfect for progress. And do not wait for someone else to push you. Discipline means you push yourself again and again until the work is done. If you want to change your life, do not ask, "Can I do this for a day?" Ask, "Can I do this every day, even when it is hard?" The answer to that question determines your destiny. Subscribe for more stories that will grow your English and your life.